Okay, can you still hear us okay?
Again,
Okay, I think we're good to go. Get out of the way.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Nice to meet you.
real quick, I saw your messages real quick, and I agree.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. We are live. Woohoo! Um, I'm just going to say a couple things and then we'll introduce Irma. I'm just going to come up to my page here. Pardon me, I have a tickle, so I'll be maybe, hopefully, not coughing throughout this whole thing. I'm also hoping, yeah, there I can. Woo! I can be able to see your comments and questions if you have any. Remember what the dealio is we're not asking personal astrology questions. She doesn't have time to say that. We're only on for up to an hour. And so Irma's running the show, and so she's got stuff to say about the supermoons. And so welcome. Thank you so much. Really good to see everybody. There's Mary McKenzie. Ha! And I see Derek. Awesome. So I'm looking on my phone. I'm not looking on the page here on the computer because I don't want to mess anything up or blow anything up. If you guys noticed, Tom was here to help me because we had a hard time linking up because this is going to go on YouTube later. So thanks so much for coming. Let me tell you, what did I want to say to start? It's not really anything other than you may still be feeling that woohoo energy, that kind of rustling around in your heart, maybe your stomach, maybe your high heart or throat. Don't worry about that now. It's just everything popping off right now. It's popping off. I'm going to explain that more in class, but you'll settle down. You really will. So just let it go. Look around for your feelings. Feel those feelings and release them. Water, put your feet in the water in your mind or in real life, and that will help you out a lot. So holy ones, I was going to say holy ones, it's Irma. Holy ones know who Irma is. I'm going to say, beloved guests, this is Irma Kaye, fantastic astrologer. I'm going to be super quiet. I'm just going to go, oh, really? Or like my dad used to say, shit, oh dear. I'm going to say stuff like that today. I know my mom and dad have been here a lot today. So this is beautiful, Irma. So go ahead and introduce yourself, dear. Tell us where you're from if you want to, and just go for it.
Okay, hi everybody. That's my new phrase. I'm gonna use that. Shit, oh dear. I love that.
My
Well, hi,
mom used to say, God bless America.
that's another good one. That's a good one. Or what's the other one? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That's another
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. We went
Hi
out.
everybody. I'm so thrilled to be on her Metaphysical Meltdown program. What an honor. Hi everybody. I'm Irma Kaye. I live in the Joshua Tree, Southern California area. I've been an astrologer for 25 years now. Also in the crystal business, do energy healing, intuitive counseling. I'm also a teacher. I teach Akashic record reading. I teach astrology. Teach a lot of different things. So just really, really thrilled and honored to be here with y'all and share some information about these important moons that we're in. And I'm really grateful for your work because the woo energy. Yeah, it's a lot of woo energy, isn't it? Yeah. We had an eclipse, right? A few days ago, and that was in Pisces, right? And I've been writing about. It's interesting how we all kind of get people in this business or work. We see a lot of the similar things, and we use different language for it, right? So, I mean, you're one of those people that you may not be an astrologer. You don't necessarily have to be one because you're receiving the same information. You just are using it's a different symbol system. That's all. But what's great about conferring with our friends and colleagues about things is that it's really validating for what I'm receiving as an intuitive astrologer, right? So I'm really grateful for my friends in this work that we're all kind of traveling together. So this is a big portal. Probably don't have to tell y'all. You guys are feeling it big time. The suggestion of water is beautiful. This is, it's all about water, right? It's in Pisces. Another really interesting thing that I kind of predicted that we were going to see playing out in the news, and we already are this week with all kinds of arrests and so forth. I basically said that if you're a good person, you're staying on your side of, you're keeping your side of the street clean, you're staying in your own lane, you're not breaking laws, you're not a criminal type, that this is going to be a blessing and auspicious period for you, because it's all about, it's a harvest moon, right? It's about what are we harvesting. And what's really interesting though, this year there's an asteroid and its name is literally Karma. I'm not making that up. And it's called Karma, and it's at 18 degrees Cancer for people that like to follow along at home here with the at the home version here. Mars is at is directly conjuncted at 18 degrees. They're both in Cancer. So Mars is conjunct Karma. So what does Mars do? It accelerates, right? It's fire, it's action, it's get it done energy. So this is why when you have an eclipse, which is with a full moon, it's a powerful ending. And then let's throw some karma in the mix. So you could see, you can see how, again, if you're just kind of living your life, being a good person, that's really going to just kind of flow right on by you. But if you're, have been involved in people that have been involved in harming other human beings, doing, illicit or illegal activities, they're getting called out, and they're going to continue to get called out. This is just, an eclipse. We can feel the eclipse effects of an eclipse for up to 3 months, right? Okay. And the next cycle starts in 6 months. So really, the whole eclipse cycle can actually last 6 months, depending on your own individual chart, right? So I'm also going to, avail myself to you guys later. If you want to have me look at your chart, we can do that. But that's basically what we're looking at, is a powerful ending. But eclipses are always about seeding, right? They're interesting because full moons, even though they're culmination, since everything's connected, they always contain the seeds of something new within it. Okay. Especially when you have an eclipse that's this powerful, right? That's really, and the 12th house, it rules the collective. It rules everybody. So that's why, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you say seeding or seating?
Seeding, like seeds, like little seeds that you plant in the ground.
A lot of sense, because I've seen fire all over the place, but
wow.
To into the earth is what they've been talking about.
Wow.
So get all the way down into the earth, into the muck, into the silt, with your own personal electric eel, if you want to do that. Anyway, go on. I wanted to ask because I couldn't understand. Go ahead.
No, that's great. And please interrupt me at any time, because I love your stuff. We're each other's fangirls, so this is nothing but fun for me.
I have one more time. So you said that you wanna look at my chart?
No, I said if anybody would like me to look at their chart, since I don't have time to do that in this time.
Couldn't, but yeah.
No, I meant privately.
Oh, good, yeah. Because I just want to make sure, because I told people, you got to send me the message, if you will, if you want a question. I only have one question so far, but I got a couple questions myself for you. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, just to clarify, I'm general questions about the cosmic weather. I'm all for that. I never have time to really look into personal, charts on this kind of format, because I have to get my intuitive hat on. It's this whole process. So I encourage people, I'm going to be offering special rates for friends of Metaphysical Meltdown. If you'd like to have your chart read, contact me after. But if you do have a general question, sure, we'll do that. So did you ask your question already, or did you said you had one? Or
I do. So I heard that we were going to be able to see an asteroid coming up. Is that the Karma asteroid or something else, or one of those planets that are out there that nobody talks about? That I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, because the Karma asteroid is not necessarily visible. So read that today. Sure. I think I've read it a couple times. I didn't have time to go into that.
Did they know when the date was? Do you know when that was?
I don't know.
You know what?
I'll let you know.
Let's mark that. Let's bookmark that, and I'll make a mental note. Okay. I tend to, look at the weather, just a few weeks in advance. Unlike this moon, I was telling some of my own students, I get together and we do full moon events, and I'm doing one for the next 3. This moon started talking in the summer, y'all. So that's unusual, because I tune into the moons, and I usually, some of them it's the 2 days before. It's always before the lunation cycle. But for a moon to start talking to me in June, when it's in September, is pretty unheard of. That's only happened one other time in my entire career. So I knew that this moon was big. I knew that it was carrying really big, powerful energy. Another thing that's important, I wrote about it on my wall. is I was thinking, like, what's all this, like all this victim energy is being released. I know you're probably seeing that, right, with your people. Yeah, I mean, I literally was seeing crucifixion energy. I know it's a little harsh, but it's got to share it. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. Neptune also rules the collective. It rules spirituality, right? It's the ruler of Pisces, so it's going to be very lit up in a Pisces full moon, right? Because it's traveling with the full moon. And I was, doing this work and really seeing that pattern being lifted up and out on the inner planes. So I wrote about it. It's like, if this is coming up for anybody that's watching this, either live or later, know that this is literally being up and out. And I know that your work, the energy work, will really, and the codes will really help support releasing that. Because as a collective, we're releasing that pattern, this victimhood pattern. Okay.
Yes.
And it's really important. And another thing that's really important about it is that there's something that are called the moon nodes. There's a south node and a north node. Some of you might have heard of this. The south node, this very much is tied into the collective and what the collective is experiencing karmically as a whole. And of course, individuals have their own nodes in their own chart. But right now I'm talking about the collective chart. So in the collective chart, they're in Virgo and Pisces. I mean, I'm sorry, they're in Aries and Libra. They're moving to Virgo and Pisces. Okay. So basically, the universe is going, you guys got to get clear on some stuff here.
Oh, wow.
About your personal empowerment, about your relationships, cleaning up relationships with other people, that kind of thing. Because the reason why we're going to be moving into next year, there's a lot of big shifts in 2025. So maybe I can come on. I'll come on next year and we'll talk a little bit about that, because we're talking shifts that are like once in 10 years. We have another shift that's a 20-year shift, planetary shift. We've got stuff that is going to have long lasting impacts. But what's happening with these supermoons is I really heard this clearly, and I could see it in the chart, is that this is setting us up to step into these energies so beautifully that are coming up. So, right, we've got this Pisces. So it's like, what are we letting go of? We're letting go of victimhood. We're letting go of old crucifixion, negative Christianity programs. We're letting go of all of that kind of stuff, right? That's what we're letting go of. And also it's codependence too, right? It's like, it's over caring. It's over the shadow of Pisces is one of my teachers used to say, to take on all the stray dogs and cats in the world until there's no room in your house anymore. It can be a lack of boundaries, even though the care, the intention is good to serve and to care, but we all have to have personal boundaries. Of course, it's essential, right? So that's really been coming up too with that pattern. So our next moon will have the sun in Libra, and the full moon will be in Aries at 0 degrees. 0, is a brand new cycle. So that's really going to be very, very potent moon also. And I wrote them down. I could tell you. Oh, here they are. Hold on. 1 second. There's something that are called the Sabian symbols, and I'll give you the short version of this. There was a wonderful intuitive named Elsie Wheeler, and I believe she passed in the 40s. So she was from another time, and she unbelievable intuitive. So every sign has 30 degrees. It has 0 to 30. She brought through something called the Sabian symbol for each degree of each sign. So that's hundreds of them, right?
Wow.
So it's 30 times 12, which I'm not good with math, but that's how many came through. So it's a lot.
That's a lot. I heard that, but I didn't know it was over 300. My goodness.
Yeah. She brought them through like in like 3 or 4 days, as the story goes.
Oh, channeled in for sure.
Oh, it was a huge download. And her partner, her husband, just recorded it all. And that's what we have today, is the Sabian symbols. And there's other symbol systems based on degrees, but I really like hers. And I'm kind of old school anyway. I'm what's called an evolutionary astrologer. I studied with Jeffrey Wolf Green and Stephen Forrest, and that's kind of my background. And in evolutionary astrology, we're very much interested in Pluto and what's going on with Pluto. And I could have a whole other conversation about Pluto at 29 Capricorn, but I will go back to that because that's important too. But the symbols, What was that?
They tried to cancel her.
So this is the Sabian symbol for the next moon is through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained.
Oh, wow.
So that's beautiful. That's really powerful. So that's what we're going to be working with. Again, I do these, we're going to get together every month. I used to do these. I used to call them soul medicine sessions, and I stepped away from it just because of things happening in my family and so forth. So now I'm back to doing the monthly events, and the rest of this year, they're going to be around the full moon. So we did one for Pisces. We're going to do one for Aries. We're going to do one in November for Taurus. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll probably take December off, and then we'll start them up again in 2025. But I get a group of people together, and we just open the space and, you know, talk to the planets and have a good time. So that's what we're doing. But so I was told that these moons are very important, and if you don't work with either one of us, that you really are in fellowship with other like-minded human beings. We know that yeah, it's a little unstable right now in the United States, just a wee bit. We know that there's a little tumult happening in the United States. So the guidance is saying astrologically and intuitively to, you know, get with folks for your own, just to fill up your own cup, right? For the fellowship of being with other people. That's always really beautiful. But considering like the themes around these moons, they have to do with relationships, they have to do with other people. So Pisces is more of a kind of a quiet or a monastic, you know, it's the 12th house. So it can be kind of lonely or doing your own thing inward, right? Because it actually rules monasteries, it rules spiritual retreat. That's that kind of thing. But the next two moons especially are, I would say, are more social. They're more about interacting with other people. Okay, especially next month, which is Libra. Go ahead.
Okay, so these super moons are coming up. Okay, so just want to make sure, because if anybody listened to me in class, I said, don't know if she's talking about forward or backwards, but it all makes sense. So what I want to say is, Holies at the beginning of the year told me the words for this year: decide, partner, middle path, and listen. So this partner up thing is coming into a lot of people because we need that support. This is just too hard of a time. The other thing I wanted to say is the new platform for us in the hold on a minute, I don't want to interrupt, but it's the new 4 directions right now are the draw of the planets around Earth. So brand new 4 directions right in the middle of the road, and that's one of them, the draw of the planets around Earth. So what I want to ask you, the question is the one I said earlier, but I don't think I said it very clearly. Do you believe that there's all kinds of stuff out there that we can see a little bit of?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. Because I take photos and things show up where they probably shouldn't be. But I mean, they're all in the right spot. It's just that people who take photos have seen things.
Do you mean like planetoids and things that maybe have not been labeled yet? Or asteroids, planetoids, things of that nature? Stars?
Yes. That are so I also think sometimes that the weather comes in big days. We could see things a little clearer and really feel a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's my experience also.
So
Yeah.
you should have seen it yesterday. So the day of the full moon, it was completely hazy over here. Not hazy, but cloud coverage. And the next day, they were the chems everywhere. Like I swear it said, eat chicken. I'll show you guys later. It's exactly what the picture looks like. Eat chicken. Whatever, if you eat chicken, cool. If you don't, cool. But what I'm trying to say is, you think, because I don't know if you've seen the Skull asteroid and some of the stuff that's very close, that you can see that perfect demarcation of the planets that are up there.
Well, yes, I have seen some of that. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's interesting because it's so fun to talk to you, or when I jump on your lives and all your wonderful stuff you share so generously. And like I said, it's really validating because we're seeing a lot of the same things, just kind of in a different way of describing it. And if you could just repeat, just for my own knowledge, what were those words again for this year? Can I hear those again?
Oh, yeah.
What were they again?
It's decide, because we've been talking about that all year. You got to decide what you want to bring in this year. Okay, you got to put your best foot forward in deciding that.
Yes.
And partner, meaning find your people. Middle path, walk it or you're going to get your butt kicked, especially right now.
Yes, 100%.
And the last one is listen, because that is what's not happening as well right now because there's a lot of out there.
That is
And
genius. That is so great. That's so reflected in, yay. Thanks,
those
Holy
guys.
Ones.
Yeah, that's those guys.
Thanks
So,
my
last-
friend bringing it in though. I mean, wow,
Yeah,
that's
well, usually I just say, what do I need to know in like the end of December? Because that's about the time one of my guides comes in and goes, you're on vacation. Usually like the 28th or whatever. So on the last year, 2023, it was patience, practice, surrender, and trust. Because we were going to get in this year, and this year was going to be the, and next year we're going to get gold on the path, I believe.
yes.
We just have to get peacefully into 2025, and we're going to notice what we stressed out about in 2024 we might shouldn't have.
You know what? I'm getting guided to share this, and this ties into what you're saying about gold on the path. I had earlier this year what's called a Jupiter return, when Jupiter is in the same position it was when you were born, right? Normally Jupiter returns they're bringing blessings and abundance. And when I had a Jupiter return, that was not my experience. I'll just say that. In fact, it was kind of the opposite experience. It was very much, instead of being expansive, it was just kind of a withdrawing. People know I've had a very difficult loss in my family. It was a really hard time. And I was going, why did I get glossed over for this Jupiter return? Like, I was pretty pissed off, to be honest. It was like, they only come every 12 years, so when you get them, it's like, where is it? Where's my day at Disneyland or whatever? And I got that because, you're talking about, because of all the oppressive, nutty energy that people's individual chart aspects maybe are not manifesting in a quote normal way. Yeah. That doesn't mean that, and I keep getting this too, this thing about blessings, about abundance, and thank you for your abundance overlay that you offer. That certainly helps. Thank you. But I feel like I keep getting that the folks that have been in here doing the work and hanging in, I feel there's just some really beautiful energy coming in both 2025 and 26. And that this was really like, because my guides have called it the crucible ever since 2020. And I'm like, I looked that up again. I'm like, yeah, it's the crucible going through this little, what is it, passing through the needle of a, eye of a needle. It's been really intense, right? So I feel like it's almost like some certain bets are off when it comes to astrology. I use that as an example because I'm sharing that with anybody that either they had a Jupiter return that was puny or or they had another positive aspect. They're like, hey, wait a minute, why is this sucky? And it's just because the cosmic weather, again, it's been super unusual. It's been very rocky, but I feel like I really like that I'm talking about these super moons because I feel like these are the game changer. Each one of these moons brings so many gifts and is a portal unto itself. And I said a couple of words about the one in October. The full moon in November, one of my favorites. I call it the reverse Wesak because Wesak is the Buddha's birthday, right? And it's in the spring when the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Scorpio. Reverse Wesak is when the sun is in Scorpio and the moon is in Taurus. So it's the same energy, just reversed, right? So that's incredibly powerful energy. I also joke too about the amateurs of Scorpio season. People that have followed me for years know what I have to say about that. The thing that bugs me about it is it just produces some static, and you just have to, vibrate higher and kind of tune it out, right? Because Scorpio, I mean, my gosh, it's Scorpio. It's Merlin, it's the shaman, it's all of, it's the phoenix and eagle and all of this really beautiful energy. So that full moon is very much the wizardly moon. That one in Scorpio, gather the witches and the shaman and the miracle workers and everybody else for that one, because that one is really, really powerful. And also in November, we have something called Pleiadian lineup. And to explain a little bit about that, whenever the degrees are 27 through 29, then you have something, especially in Scorpio, that time, Scorpio and Taurus, it's a little mini galactic stargate, little opening there. And I've called the one in November. What did I call it? Starseed Christmas. That's what I like to call it. So November, we've got Starseed Christmas. And so, okay, what does that mean? Well, that means all kinds of beautiful cosmic blessings and gifts. This is where your listen comes in. That's where the listen comes in. The partnering is October's moon. The listen is November's moon, from based on what you just shared. So again, right on the money as always. Yeah, do we have time? Does anybody have any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer some.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, November will be a listening time because there's a lot of folks right now that are not listening. You best be listening in November. So
Indeed.
yeah, Sherry wants to know
Hi,
how.
Sherry.
Yeah, I don't know if she's on. This was from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She wants to know how to best use the daily transit charts.
How to best use the daily transit charts? That's a good question. That's a really good question. It's kind of deep. So let me give a Cliff Notes version of it. Good question, Sherry. Well, first of all, you should probably talking about all planets. You could do a beginning level, an intermediate, and advanced level. I'm going to start at the beginning level. The beginning level is you're going to get up and go, what's the moon doing today?
Yeah.
That's where we're going to start. And also it's kind of a given that we know that where the sun is. We know the sun's in Virgo, right? So, okay, we know where the sun is. So we're going to start there. What's the moon doing? Okay. What degree is it at? What sign is it in? Right. Well, right now over the weekend, we're going to go, for example, we have Taurus moon, chef's kiss. Love me a Taurus moon, beautiful moon ruled by Venus. So this is a great question. What you can do is go, what is a Taurus moon like? Taurus moon loves good food, loves beautiful, look at all your beautiful crystals there. That's a really nice kind of Taurus experience, taking that all in. It likes color, it likes art. You hey, might be a good day to go to an art museum if you enjoy art. So that's a good way to utilize lunar energy. Looking at, and another example like Virgo moon. Oh, I really need to do that organizational project. Oh Lord, this applies to me. Okay.
Is that today?
No, today's Taurus. Taurus.
Taurus. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and it's great because it's like pleasure and fun. This is all very Taurian, getting together with your friends, having a laugh. That's also part of it too. But it's very grounded in practical earth energy too. But I use, for example, Virgo is very good at cleaning, doing an organizational project. We had that when we had the Virgo new moon. So a lot of people, it's always interesting to see people's posts, whether they follow or not. Like, oh, I cleaned out this drawer and I feel so good about it. Or what I did, I joke and say that even though the whole house needs to be organized, my progressed moon is in Cancer. People have heard me talk about how I'm getting so into cooking this year, and it's been very fun for me. I reorganized my spice cabinet. Because that's important, right? I mean, we had stuff in there. I'm like, Lord, I don't know how old, you have to get rid of stuff, right? You don't know how old things are. You want to have fresh, nice stuff in there. So that's a good example. If you want to get more complicated, Sherry, with your chart, you can look at your own chart and look at what's happening with the daily chart. And that's more of an advanced level, right? Having knowledge of your own personal chart. But I would say, just to follow the cosmic weather, another thing to do too, and I teach this in my beginning cosmic weather course, is you look at several things. You look at the sun, you look at the moon, you always look at geomagnetic activity, right? I know that's a given, and if you want to get fancy, you look at the Schumann resonance. Is the Schumann resonance high or low? The geomag and the Schumann resonance tend to travel together. They don't always, but they do regularly. So usually it's like when people wake up, and this helps you, I think it helps a lot of people from not thinking they're going bonkers.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I started Cosmic Weather, is so many sensitive people were getting so knocked on their butt in the solar flares and the high geomag activity that I started that page. Like, this is the factual, like straight from the website, space
Right.
weather. This is what's going on. So I started putting it all in one place. And now that information is pretty much everywhere you can find that. But when I started that page, however many, 15 years ago, that information wasn't as readily available. So I kind of did a one-stop shopping for people. And I did it. That was a form of service because people, thought they were going bonkers. And then they would go on there and they go, oh, this is why I feel ungrounded. This is why I feel thirsty. This is why I have a headache. This is maybe why my body pain is up. As you know, all of these things that are impacted. So, like I said, I could go in depth with that question, but I think I answered it pretty well. I think you should look at the moon. The moon is very important. I mean, it's obviously important to women, but it's important to everybody. What's happening with the moon? Another thing, look at retrogrades. Planetary retrogrades, right? You got to sign a contract. I would put that off when Mercury's not in retrograde. If you do have to sign it in retrograde, read it every single, get out your little magnifying glass and read every fine point. Because people ask me that a lot too. Like, I have to pick up the keys to the office, or I have to sign the thing. Is this a huge bummer? And it's like, no, it's not a bummer. You just have to be very mindful of what you're signing, like extremely mindful, right? Dot your I's, cross your T's. That's really important in a Mercury retrograde, for example. So I would say that moon retrogrades, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question.
I thought I was going to get caught in that. And so what I said to one of my closest guides, I said, is there a lesson there for me? Which doesn't always work, because sometimes there's lessons you can't see and you put it into place for yourself. You're going to fall in that hole anyway because you're supposed to. But I forget, I had to do something in Mercury. I forget what it was. But I'm usually pretty aware of that one. So she had another question too. Her question is, what astrology site do you like the best?
Okay. I would just be pretty clear. And well, it again depends on your level. Astro.com, great place to start, everybody. Astro.com. What's great about Astro.com is they have really entry level, basic level stuff there. And then if you want to get into more fancy stuff, it's really good for people of various levels. That's why I like that chart. Just astro.com. It's a there's a lot of them, but I would say just kind of as a place to start, that's a good one. Speaking of that, got to give a plug to my buddy and teacher, Stephen Forrest. If somebody wants a good basic astrology book, because someone's asking that, I would recommend Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest with 2 R's and a PH. He's a wonderful teacher, a great clear writer. He just happens to have the same big 3 as me too. Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Capricorn, Aries, Scorpio. So
that little group is a lot.
it is. Indeed it is. I had to grow into it. Yeah.
I just have basic level astrology. I mean, I remember seeing people's charts and I'm like, what in the heck is that? All mine's in one little spot. I'm like, is that good or bad?
Well, I'd like to I'm going to look at yours for sure. But yeah, this is his book, The Inner Sky. Great primer. And then if people want to go the next level, get a little more, involved, a little more intermediate level, then he's got a second book called The Changing Sky. These are what I recommend all the time. I've got a library full of astrology books. I always go back to those. I get asked that question a lot. Yeah, and he's not giving me any kickbacks. You probably should. No, just kidding. I recommend his books all the time because they're really good.
So have you had that, God, I can't remember if we talked about this because I talked about this with somebody else, but I keep getting the nudge of the return. Oh, I know who I was talking to, Chanda, because Chanda's going to come in. I'll tell you, everybody, on Metaphysical Meltdown tonight here, who everybody's coming, but we were talking about that understanding of getting back to basics. Have you heard that this year too?
Absolutely. That's very much clearing away the superfluous stuff. That's what a lot of this energy has been around. Again, we're in Virgo season, which is probably the best time of year to do that because, again, it's grounded, practical earth energy. And it can be anything from me continuing my wardrobe project, like, literally going, oh, I will never wear this again. I am fooling myself. Or I can't fit into this, or it's time to move this on down the road. Either donate it or, to consignment or whatever. I think that's a good kind of metaphor for that. It doesn't have to literally be a physical object, but I think that that's very much kind of the vibe, especially when we get into the fall and you get into Virgo season in September.
You know what? I suddenly, I tell you, today's been one of those days. I found everybody's question. God bless me. Okay.
Yes.
So here's the next question. You want to go on the next one?
Sure.
What's coming up for Leos?
What's coming up for Leos? Well, Leos, it's always your big, Lionsgate's your big time for Leos. You know what I mean? So I haven't really looked, nothing, no major planets are going into Leo right now. But I will say that right now with the North Node in Aries, that is trine Leo, right? They're in the same fire family. So North Node in Aries is really about everybody being their most authentic self. People have heard me talk about the I am, right? This is one thing that you won't get from 3D astrologers, but you'll get from me. Aries rules the I am, which is a very big deal, right? Anybody who does spiritual work knows that, it connects you to source. It's way up there. It's part of your soul mission, all of that good stuff. So, because people think of Aries as like, oh, it's martial energy and it's very, it gets get her done and it's all of those things. It's powerful. But it's the first house is the first house of where you came in, right? When you come in as a being, it's like, who are you? It's the I, right? It's like your essence. So I feel like all fire signs to a certain extent are being lit up with this like awareness of this and also the North Node's where we're going. It's not where we've been. So this means that we're working on this together. We're traveling towards that goal together. So I would really say all fire signs, all y'all, that means Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, that's going to be lit up. It's like, what's your soul mission? What's your soul purpose? What are you working on? Where are you going? I think those are good questions to ask. I mean, they're good for everybody to ask, but I would say that's going to be lit up for people with fire planets in their chart. So that's my answer to that.
That's perfect for who asked that question. Love seeing that person coming into her own. Okay. Good. So let's see here. So Jody says, feeling a big shift now. She is Capricorn, Sun and Moon in Capricorn, Pisces rising, on cusp with Aquarius. Feeling a big shift right now.
Yeah. Well, again, that's it. Get into some personal questions, but that's okay. I will say you have a Pisces rising. That eclipse is right on your chart. If you have any personal planets, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant in Pisces, that moon is going to be very personal. It's a good question, actually. You're going to be feeling it very directly. You're going to be feeling it more directly than other people. Capricorn also, it's a sea goat, right? People forget. I'm Capricorn Sun. It's got a little fishtail on the end. People seem to forget about that. It's not just a goat, it's a sea goat. So Capricorn is very much tied into Piscean energy, and people tend to forget that. So again, when we have things happening to Pisces, Capricorns feel it. Maybe not in the same way, but in the subtle realms, they feel it.
Okay, it's beautiful to watch your progress, beautiful lady who asked that question.
Oh, nice! Cheers.
So, I'm gonna ask a question. By golly, I'm sitting right here.
You ask a question.
Every time somebody reads me, they tell me I'm something else.
Well,
somebody told me I was a Capricorn, and I'm like, dude, I am so Aquarius, you would not believe. I am there.
You are very Aquarian. In fact, I knew you were an Aquarius before I even found that out. I'm like, yeah. Well, you're bringing it all. You know what? It's very much like that star card, like how it's the card where she's like bringing it in and it's the beautiful water. And, oh, you're such an Aquarian, like chef's kiss. I mean, you're really on that beautiful octave of it that's not always manifested, like you're really in some true stuff with it.
Well, I always say, had I known a little bit, because I remember reading who was Linda Goodman's Sun Signs. Remember that?
I do.
that when I was a very young teenager and possibly before that. And so I had some idea, not much. I just looked up my friends or whatever, myself.
Right.
Had I been able to have a little bit, I would have understood my family, the people around me so much better because I couldn't. Being neurodiverse, it's really, I really didn't have any way to explain myself other than this is me. And, it's when we come into family and we come into that first stuff, that is learning. That's a learning curve.
Oh, yeah.
I got a little bit of that. And there's Pat. Hi, Pat and Justin. So here's a question. May I ask what might be in store for Cancer? Did you already say Cancer? I can't remember.
They asked about Leo. Cancer, you've got Mars in Cancer conjunct that asteroid Karma. So again, just if you're keeping your side of the street clean, I mean, this is some powerful energy, right? We've got all of this water. We've got Saturn in Pisces. All water signs are going to be really feeling this portal that we're in right now. It's very much a water-oriented portal. The two signs, though, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, more than Scorpio, because the planets involved are in Pisces and Cancer. So what does that mean? This means like doing an emotional inventory. This means expect some shifts around that. Okay. Again, to have Mars conjunct Karma, I talked about how that's playing out in the world stage, but that's also playing out in everybody's personal life too. Because think about it, Cancer's the home. That's another thing. When you look at where like, for example, just to digress a little bit, the U.S. is a Cancer. It's got her sun in Cancer, right? So we've got Mars in Cancer. It's like right on time that all these, all the childless cat ladies and dog ladies are signing up for service. Like, hey, this is our home. We like it here. We like our country. We want to unite and have healing and blessings, right? So because Cancer will defend what it loves, right? So when you have Mars in Cancer, you might be, and you're a Cancer, you might be called to defend what you love. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. Again, I'm not looking at somebody's individual chart, but this is just kind of based on the general information about Cancer. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting though, because we're hearing from so many people out in the world because people are loving to say, and I'm listening to all sides, right? Because I find myself right square in the middle. So I like to listen to all sides, and I'm not going to split us into two because there is no two. So I stay right in the middle of the road, and so a lot of this stuff is speaking to me as to how to behave in peace, I guess I would say. And that middle road to me is about the only place I'm interested in. So what people might be noticing right now is the blat and the squeak of both sides. It's an illusion, right? And so I just want to reiterate, things are going to look different to us as soon as the year flips over. It's going to look different. So remain super open-hearted, super open ears. You want your ears to be really open right now so that you can understand. I am never going to say, go do your research, because I'm like, because people research exactly what they think they believe. I'm not saying what I'm saying is
called cognitive dissonance and information bias. Yeah, it's real for sure.
And so what they've been telling me, my team, is they've been telling me, read your body. Your body is going to know. So if you're out there, I'm going to say this. Can I say this? I can say it easily and sweetly. If you are out there, you're feeling stirred up, your fingers are in a sticky pot. That's the energy that's out there, right? Your fingers are in a sticky pot. And you know what happens when you walk through asphalt that hasn't set? You get stuck. So when you get stuck in that, there's actually a code for it. It's called the trap. So when you get stuck in the trap, it means your energy is out of your field like this. It's just like a little Spidey. Okay, so what is this person's feel? That person said something about me. And then you get stuck right there. And then you're stuck right there. And then you are not listening. You are not feeling your body. How did I do? Pretty good.
No, that's good. That's really good. I would add too that this has nothing to do with politics, that what's playing out with women and with the divine feminine is happening kind of irregardless of politics. You know what I mean? Like it kind of, there's a whole thing happening, like whoever is running or is kind of not, doesn't matter. What this thing about letting go of crucifixion energy, letting go of victimhood energy, and like that whole thing, defending your home, Mars and Cancer. There's another really important thing to mention. There's something called Black Moon Lilith. She has to do right with injustices towards women, girls and women. And she's in Libra, and Libra is all about fairness and about balance. So yeah, so there's a lot of this, balancing that's happening right now when it comes to women's issues, and it comes to, any kind of exploitation or abuse or anything like that. So I feel like kind of no matter who was involved in the government, this would still be happening, right? Because this is happening in the astrology. I love your guides, guidance about it being sticky and pulls people out of their set. All of that is so accurate and it's so important. And I've been hearing kind of similar stuff. I have to go on news fast myself. I have to do self-care. I have to, we all, it's a, we call it, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's the long haul,
Yeah.
so you got to take care of yourself.
Spirit told me it's like a relay race right now, because some of us choose to be in that middle path and choose to tweak the energy in different ways. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
So if anybody wonders why certain people are on the middle path or being non-committal, is because you don't know what they're doing. So don't even wonder about it. So my friend Justin says,
Yeah.
Defending my sovereignty.
Yes.
So he's defending his sovereignty, and a lot of people feel that same way. Can we discuss this upcoming solar eclipse with the new moon on October 2nd? Did you do that already?
No, I did talk about the moon, but I didn't talk about the solar eclipse. Sure, that's good for you for defending your sovereignty. Right on, high five, brother. Yeah, we love that. We need a lot more of that. Well, we know that solar eclipses, what do I like to say it? It's the universe putting a little fire under your butt, as I like to put it, right? That's what we have in common, is we both have kind of the same funny little sense of humor. Our guys have the same banter. I love it. It's so cool. I recognize that right away. But basically, when you have Aries, this is again brand new cycle, brand new energy, creative, right? Solar eclipses are about birthing the new. So everybody's assignment between now and October 2nd, which is coming up pretty quick, is think about whatever came up in the full moon eclipse. Really look at it. You don't have to get down in it if it's unpleasant, but really objectively analyze it, right? And do some work with it. Maybe you need to do some energy work with you, or you need to do some release, or you need to do some journaling, or whatever it is, right? It's going to be unique for the individual. But this is what we get when we're in between eclipses. I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you for bringing me back to that. Anytime in between eclipses is a really potent period. It's also very strange. People have commented like, is it a retrograde? Or like, people are kind of like, I don't know what day it is. And I'm like, it's really that kind of energy. It might be harder to get grounded, because when you think of it, it's kind of these are cosmic womb periods, right? There's a big womb void energy that's happening between eclipses. So your job in between eclipses is to, again, listen, take very good care of your field and of your body, right? Drink your water, get your rest, get your exercise, get your feet on the ground if you need to do that. Go hug a tree, however you do your self-care. That's really important in these portal periods. But I would say about that one, I haven't tuned into it yet, because I'm still talking to people about the full moon eclipse, because it was so big. But I will be, like I said, I'll be doing an event. I'll probably go live. I'm more active on my own. I have a channel also at YouTube, so I will probably do a free little blurb, and you can either see it. I'll do it. I do a recording and I share it at Facebook and I share it at YouTube. So I will go in depth on that. Probably do like a 15-minute thing on that. So if anybody wants to know, but what I will say now is, again, it's huge energy. It's birthing. It's boom. It's a starburst, right? It's Aries is new. And another thing to point out is, while we still have this North Node in Aries, what we're seeding at that moon is impacting our future, not only our future, but the collective's future. So whenever and I've heard this when I started studying astrology many years ago, that whenever you do something in service, as you know, that's out bigger than yourself, right? That's for the collective. You know all about this. That's very Aquarian to do something that serves the collective. But when you do something in service to the collective during a portal, it is really blessed. The guides and holy ones and our angels and our ancestors, this is a thing that will get, that is noticed cosmically, shall we say, is acts of service done in these portals. And to clarify that, there's certainly nothing wrong with doing ritual and asking for yourself. Of course, that's fine. We're not supposed to be totally selfless and do everything for other people. But that being said, the way you balance out your own blessings is you serve, right? You give something, you have an intention that's going to help all of humanity. And it could just be like, as you do your ritual, I'm holding space for peace for all beings. I'm holding space that all beings will be safe and fed. Whatever it is. These are just examples. And actually, you could even put legs on it, as I like to say, and go down to the soup kitchen, like actually physically go and do some service work. You can intend, put it out there on the grid, you can actually do some work. But Aries is about action. It's not just about thinking about it. It's about doing it. So I was hearing already that action is a key factor in that particular moon. Okay. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'm going to tune in more to what it has to tell me a couple of days and I'll do a video on it. But awesome. When I looked at all three of them, I had some notes here. I just kind of did some general stuff because I knew we'd be talking about it. So that was really what came through, right? Was to remind people of the service element. Okay.
Yeah, we've been led in the Sunday group to do a little bit of service. Earlier this year, we had an extra day to do it, and I went, I can't do an extra day. So at the end of the class, we just bring in the law of one, bring in the huge energy that we made in class, and we go with it wherever it.
Well, see, that's all, we do that. I've been sharing that. I've been doing this grid call. It's what kept me sane through 2020 all the way through 2024 is I get together with people once a week and we do a healing grid call with my IET and fellow instructors. It takes 30 minutes. It's very satisfying. It not only fills up my cup for the week, it kind of satisfies that service thing. So however people want to do that, I think that's important and really useful, and not to mention grounding, nice and grounding.
To me, it's great because that's my most important thing is what does the planet need? Asking the trees to take it to the birds, to take it to the ancestors, to make the petitions to where it needs to go, and what would the petition be? And it's usually something different, but it could be a place or it could be a thing. I mean, it doesn't stay the same. So do you have anything else that you would like to say in the last few minutes? Because I want to make sure that you get your stuff out, and then I have something to say that's about that big. It's really small.
Well, thanks for your questions, everybody. They were really good questions, actually. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's so good to not get questions where I've stumped on them, where I can answer them. That was great. I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity. Remind people that we are getting together for the next 2 supermoons. If people would like to join us, I'll just give you my website. It's irmakaye.com. People can sign up for the mailing list for all our events. I am doing I'm going back to the in-person retreats. We're doing one in Sedona next year in October. So that's exciting. That'll be fun. I'm kind of slowly getting back to all the fun stuff I used to do. What else? And yes, I'm available for individual sessions, consultations. People can find me on Facebook and also my page at YouTube. It's under Cosmic Weather. So they can look up Cosmic Weather at YouTube. I do have a channel there. And I've done like Mary, I've done these interviews. I've had people on there. I used to call it Live from the Cosmic Couch. I'll probably start that up again too. I'm getting inspired to do that. So I've got some really good ones on there. So if anybody wants to go and look in the archive on there, it's kind of a fun place to want to spend a couple hours one day and go do that. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Well, it's Irma Kaye, and that's how you find her. She's super prolific when she can be. So all day I'm like, what? She's got something new she's saying. She's a good challenge to the old braino. I would like to find out if I can read you something very quickly. Can I actually read that? Yeah, I can. So the Holy Mother and I, she was talking to me today about something, and then all of a sudden I wrote this thing. So I don't know that it's just me. So there's a reason for telling you this. My body's open door leads to the temple of freedom. Inside I find what I was unable to understand. I see what has been in place to release in perfect timing. I see my shining soul and my highest self that knows every cell of me, every thought. I see the bodies of pain standing ready. They are my focus, and I ask them, what is your name? Usually don't write like that, but she helped me bring that through. Just want to tell you something. There's been somebody in my field lately. His name is David Crosby. Might have heard of him. So he wants to have something to say, and basically he's just been waving at me for a couple days. He brought through some teaching for an individual in their reading the other day. So we're gonna do that. Also, I've seen like millions of angels. So just letting you know, there's a million angels. And last night I went out taking pictures, as I do when I can actually see something. And all I have is my cheesy little cell phone, pardon me. But there is just all kinds of stuff coming through, and it's exciting to see. So go out there, everybody. You just might see something that'll blow your socks off. So next week on the 27th at 5 Eastern is Paula Simone. She does energy work like you wouldn't believe. She's just really fun to listen to. She has a very interesting take on a lot of stuff. She's a friend of mine. I'd love to have you here, Paula. I've interviewed her a whole bunch of times. Usually I just go, because she's got all kinds of cool stuff to say. Then comes Chanda Sparkles on October the 4th, 5 Eastern, I think. But I'll be putting this up. And then she's a great astrologer. She'll be talking about eclipse season. Then comes Aaron and Mo. You guys might know more. Mo and Aaron, friends of mine. They're going to come on and talk about rocks. They're basically going to go, this is what that rock does. And they are so entertaining to watch. They're super funny, very heart-based, and know all about rocks. So can't wait for
I love crystals. I'll be on that one for sure.
It's really fun to watch those guys. They are hysterical. And then my seance is on October 30th. That's on Zoom. I haven't put it up yet because it usually comes together pretty quickly, and I'm not even advertising it on my website. It's just call me if you want it. Don't call me, text me if you want it. I'll give the information later today, I think. I'm gonna do a local one and then one on Zoomer. Well, bless you. You did a beautiful job within record time.
I want to add something really quick. You're teaching Art of Your Energy on my birthday weekend, and I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited. So anybody want to party with me on my birthday in that class? That's going to be really great. So I just wanted to share that.
That class is I keep telling people you might have to rest after that because there's so many. There's 111 codes, plus I'm going to give you some of the new ones, which are really cool. And I mean, that card deck is 111. You're going to have those plus the new ones, the really new ones, which go up to 6 or something like that. No, I think it's more than that. But that class is going to be really fun. I can't wait to teach that next year. So, okay, everybody, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week trying to do those freebs either Thursday or Friday. So we'll see you. Thanks, everybody, for coming on. Goodbye. Thank you, Irma. Bless you.